For the Investing News Network, I'm Brian McGovern here from the Lift Show in Toronto with Nick Cusick from High Tide. Nick, thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thanks for the opportunity.
Nick, High Tide has been quite explosive with its expansion of retail across Canada. Can you give a quick overview of the retail market in Canada from an investment perspective? How have investors reacted to thinking about retail strategies and seeing some of these new competitors, these new companies coming into the public markets that are focusing on retail mostly?
Yeah, so far, with 30 storefronts in multiple provinces, when you account for the Smokers Corner business as well as our Canna Cabana cannabis retail business, we've gotten a pretty good feel for what it's like to set up in a lot of different provincial jurisdictions and municipal jurisdictions as well. We feel with our 10-year head start that we understand our customer well, and that seems to be paying off. The Canna Cabana brand has been well received. We are branded in Ontario and Alberta and Saskatchewan now. We want to draw to enter Manitoba, and we also will be entering British Columbia in the year. So, we welcome competition. I think there are a few good concepts out there, but ultimately customers will decide with their wallets. And so far, based on the Google reviews, people seem to appreciate the Canna Cabana experience, and typically we're rated in the top tier so far. So we're very privileged to have earned that so far.
The cannabis market as a whole has been quite an interesting one to watch in terms of, like you mentioned, the idea that consumers will dictate a lot of the things that will come up, who the top producers will be in terms of product reviews, and now with these stores, which ones are the ones that are going to capture the attention of the consumers, and which ones will just become like a second option or things like that. Can you talk about some of the things that you found so far that really make a difference in terms of capturing consumers, making sure that for them it's not a question of like, I want to buy some product today, it doesn't really matter where I go. Like, how do you get to them to make them think, okay, I want this store in particular?
Yep. Well, there's a number of ways to interact with customers that seems to be paying off. First of all, the in-store experience is critical. The way we've designed our layout and our brand is to be very approachable, very transparent. The fishbowl islands that we have in our store that allow customers to view the product and interact with it, and our sniff jars, that's critical to hit on more than one of the senses. And that interaction, this level of service, it's taking our time and not rushing customers through our stores, and being a one-stop shop. Also, having a wide variety of accessories available to provide customers along with their cannabis products makes, I think, the consumer experience at a Canna Cabana store a complete one. So far, that's what seems to be resonating from an in-store perspective. When people are outside of the store, we have our Canna Cabana Club that people can be a part of and communicate with us that way and receive benefits, interacting with our company and our brand and getting to learn the other businesses that we have under High Tide.
Another aspect that I'm sure you're quite aware of or monitoring is the edible market in Canada. A lot of swings and predictions in terms of when exactly these products will be available. How critical will these products be for some of your retail operations, in the sense that offering another sort of emerging product and a wide line of products that may be available for consumers? From the retail aspect, like, how critical is it for this market to open?
I think once the infrastructure is built, adding SKUs within a store isn't as complicated. So making edibles available and concentrates and the rest of what will become illegal through Health Canada in the coming months and years is something that we'll be keen to provide customers. So on the edibles front, that we expect will be a large opportunity. It doesn't take a lot of space per square foot to generate the incremental business. And the LPs and suppliers through the government entities on a provincial basis, with the exception of Saskatchewan being structured a little bit more freely, that will provide retailers another opportunity to differentiate themselves. The choice of inventory and the variety that we'll be carrying will be reflective of our brand, our approachable, sophisticated, and playful in-store experience. And eventually there will be enough choice available that retailers will be able to distinguish themselves more and more, similar to the private market liquor experience in Alberta. That there are a number of things to be determined, and Health Canada has to do its thing, but we'll be ready when the time is right.
This might be a bit of a tougher one in terms of like what it will look like, but I'm just curious from your point of view, how do you view the once edibles become legal and available for consumers, the beverages that that have created a lot of interest? Do you foresee them in a store like yours, for example, as being part of like in a storefront that's like all a fridge and there's like a variety of them, or do you foresee them being very separated from all the other products available? We're expecting to see quite a few of these drinks as well. And for yourself, like what are you looking forward to in terms of finding out from consumers what do they like or what do they not like about these beverages?
Well, it's going to depend. I mean, installing refrigeration and selling beverages, in bulk, like in a grocery basis, is a lot different than selling a unit for instant consumption on a convenience basis. One of the other or the other may be more conducive to a Canna Cabana, but that will be something we figure out, in the fall or leading up to it, and in and around, the launch of this category, by Health Canada. So we are, TBD. I think there is something there to be studied, and in communicating with our customers and getting a sense of what they're expecting from the in-store experience. Will be flexible, but I think it'll be a stretch to say that we're going to take an entire wall of our store and install refrigeration. But if there's a way to add that set of SKUs to our stores and provide a more complete experience, we definitely will.
And as a last thing, I do want to ask you about, from your point of view as well, the state of the markets right now. The cannabis investment has been driven by this year a lot by the interest in the U.S. companies and the U.S. MSOs. But from your point of view, with the performance of High Tide, how do you see the state of investment in cannabis right now?
I think the interest level is still quite high. It's still retail dominated and hedge fund driven as well. The pure long only institutions are still on the sidelines, generally speaking, and also the large banks are getting closer and closer to having a bigger presence. But we're a little ways away from where everybody wants to be. I think from High Tide's perspective, the nice thing is we can do business with our competitors, and on a wholesale basis, we can have custom accessories made for their brands, for LPs, for retailers, for MSOs. So we're open for business when it comes to that, and we don't touch the plant anywhere where it's federally illegal. So we have a lot of flexibility in the United States, which I believe makes us an attractive destination for capital. Our valuation right now is extremely fair. I think that we're prime for a nice increase in enterprise value, especially as our stores roll out and we continue reporting our quarterly performance. But the general sense currently is that it's been a bit of a risk-off market lately, and that changes. The markets ebb and flow, and we're looking forward to the next risk-on wave.
I see. Nick, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anytime.
For the Investing News Network from the Lift Expo show, I'm Brian McGovern.